Are remote workers being productive? A recent survey found that nearly 3 out of 4 remote workers are scrolling through social media during their workday, and more than a third are shopping. The survey found that 1 in 5 Americans say they have taken a nap while on the clock remotely. To shed some light on whether remote work is good for productivity, NTD Business's Don Ma speaks with an expert on the subject.
And here with me is Ira Wolfe. He's recognized as one of the top 5 global thought leaders on future of work and HR. So a recent survey says 1 in 7 Americans admit they only work for about 3 to 4 hours on average each day when working remotely. Now, this is significant because if you're on a team working on a project and one of your teammates aren't pulling the weight, it could delay the whole project. It could make the product of less quality. I mean, when surveys like these come out, I can imagine why company leaders want employees back in the office. You've had a lot of exposure in this area. You've talked a lot about this. So I want to ask you, what's the core problem here?
I could sum it up in 2 words or maybe 4 words. Productivity, paranoia, and the other may be hybrid hysteria. There was a study done last year by Microsoft, and they found that 85% of leaders said that the shift to hybrid work or remote work has made it more challenging to have confidence that their employees are actually being productive. So when studies like this come out, it resonates. Leaders and managers and other people jump all over it. But the challenge is, and I wrote about this 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, and we used to call it presenteeism. It means people showed up for work, but they actually they weren't doing what the managers thought they were doing. So in 2005, U.S. workers were declared to be wasting 2 hours a day surfing the internet, hanging around the water cooler, spending times in meetings, looking for other jobs, shopping online. That was 20 years ago.
Wouldn't there be a conflict when they're working from home to actually, doing their work?
And that's a great point. It also comes down to employee well-being. We are, certainly have labor shortages these days. Companies can't find enough people. It looks like our economy is not going to go into recession, or maybe it's going to be a really soft landing. And the future doesn't look very good for our labor pool. So we're also going to have to employers are going to have to take a fresh look, is that if they are even if they have the same level of productivity, but the employee stays on the payroll, that they are engaged. Gallup just came out with the report about 2 weeks ago. And they identified that, again, almost 7 or more than 7 out of every 10 employees are disengaged at work. 1 out of 5 are miserable. They're not very productive. If you're not engaged and you're feeling miserable, then you're not giving 100% of your time.
I mean, that's a good point. Maybe perhaps it's not about whether working from home or at the office. It's about the individual. Are they a productive person? Maybe you can just comment on that.
Oh, absolutely. We're living in a personalized world. Everything's personalized. We go on the internet and they know all our activity. Everybody works differently. What is it that person needs? Because there are people, by the way, there's a lot of employees that want to come back to the office. But there's other people that it's much more difficult. They're very talented. They have the skills that employers need. But the employers want to treat everybody as an all or none. Companies just have to really kind of create a blank slate, look at what's going to work, what do their employees want, where are the employees that they need, and again, going back to having different metrics, measuring outcomes, not hours worked.
Oh, thank you so much today, Ira. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.